You are working harder than you ever have. You might even be making significantly more money than you did 3, 4, or 5 years ago. You got the raise, you took on the extra responsibilities, you put in the hours. And yet, somehow, by the final week of the month, you find yourself staring at your banking app, watching your account balance gasp for air, wondering where on earth it all went. It is a deeply frustrating modern paradox. You feel like you are doing everything right, but you are barely treading water. We have been conditioned to believe that people go broke because of massive, catastrophic financial blunders. We think it is the luxury car loan they could not afford, the massive mortgage on a house that was too big, or a wild weekend in Vegas. But that is a myth. The reality is far more subtle, and honestly, far more dangerous. The real culprits destroying your financial momentum are not the big, loud purchases. They are the invisible leaks. They are the tiny, silent, completely normalized transactions that quietly drain your paycheck while you are looking the other way. They are the financial equivalents of a running toilet. You do not notice the sound until you get the water bill at the end of the month and realize you have flushed away a fortune. Before we expose exactly what these silent killers are, I want to take a quick second to connect with you. Drop a comment down below and let me know where in the world you are watching from right now. It is genuinely fascinating to see the global reach of this community, and to realize that these financial traps are a universal human experience. Whether you are in New York, London, Sao Paulo, or Tokyo. And while you are down there, if you are serious about taking control of your money, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and leave a like to support the channel. It tells the algorithm that you value this kind of content, and it helps us keep making it for you. Let us talk about the first invisible leak. I call it the convenience premium. We live in an era where friction has been practically eliminated from the purchasing process, and we are paying a massive premium for it. Think about the food delivery apps. You are tired after a long day of work. You open your phone, and with 3 taps, a meal is on its way. You tell yourself that you are buying back your time. You rationalize it by saying your time is valuable and you do not want to spend 45 minutes cooking and cleaning. But let us look at the actual math. A meal that costs $15 on the restaurant menu suddenly has a service fee, a delivery fee, a small order fee, and a tip. By the time it reaches your door, that $15 meal costs $28. You just paid a near 100% markup for the illusion of convenience. And what exactly are we doing with that precious time we supposedly bought back? Are we reading a book? Are we building a side business? Are we deeply connecting with our family? Most of the time, the answer is no. We are sitting on the couch, mindlessly scrolling through short-form videos while waiting for the driver to arrive. We are not buying time. We are buying the privilege of being lethargic. And it does not stop at food delivery. It is the express shipping on items we do not urgently need. It is the pre-chopped onions at the grocery store that cost 4 times as much as a whole onion. We bleed money on these tiny conveniences, tricking ourselves into thinking we are optimizing our lives, when in reality, we are just paying a massive tax on our own exhaustion. Then there is the trap of zombie subscriptions. 10 years ago, a subscription meant a magazine or a gym membership. Today, the entire global economy has shifted to a subscription model. Every software company, every entertainment platform, every app wants a direct IV line into your checking account. It is not just the major streaming services that you actually watch. It is that obscure PDF editing app you downloaded for a free trial in 2022 to sign one document and forgot to cancel. It is the premium cloud storage you are paying for because your phone warned you that your photos were not backing up. It is the language learning app you swore you were going to use every day, but haven't opened in 6 months. Companies have mastered the psychology of the friction-based business model. They make signing up as easy as looking at your phone to use Face ID. But canceling? Canceling requires you to log into a browser, navigate through 5 different submenus, click No, I really want to cancel 3 times, and sometimes even make a phone call during specific business hours. They design the cancellation process to be just annoying enough that you tell yourself, I will do it this weekend. And then the weekend passes. And another month goes by. And another $9.99 vanishes. It feels like a trivial amount of money. But when you have 7 or 8 of these zombie subscriptions quietly feeding off your account, you are hemorrhaging hundreds of dollars a year for absolutely zero value in return. Which brings us to one of the most painful invisible expenses of all, something I call the trash tax. I want you to picture the crisper drawer in your refrigerator. For most people, the crisper drawer is not a place to store food. It is a graveyard for good intentions. Every Sunday, you go to the grocery store. You feel ambitious. You are going to be healthy this week. So you buy the organic spinach, the fresh berries, the expensive bundle of asparagus. You bring them home, put them in the drawer, and then life happens. You work late. You order takeout. You eat the frozen pizza instead. By Friday, that beautiful bag of organic spinach has turned into a dark, slimy, liquid mess. You take it out of the fridge, feel a brief moment of intense guilt, and throw it into the garbage. Do you realize what you are actually doing? You are quite literally taking a $5 bill, walking over to your trash can, and throwing it away. If I told you to literally throw a $5 bill in the trash every week, you would call me insane. But we do it with aspirational groceries all the time. We buy food for the ideal version of ourselves, the person who cooks fresh vegetables every night, instead of buying food for the reality of our actual schedules. That disconnect between who we want to be and who we actually are is costing you thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Now, let us move out of the kitchen and into your social life, where the aesthetic tax is waiting to drain your wallet. This goes far beyond the simple fear of missing out. The aesthetic tax is the invisible cost of maintaining a baseline social standing in modern society. It is the dinner with a large group of friends where everyone agrees to just split the bill evenly. You ordered a side salad and a glass of tap water because you were trying to be financially responsible. But the guy across the table ordered a ribeye steak and 3 expensive cocktails. When the bill comes, you are asked to throw in $60. You do it, not because it is fair, but because the social friction of speaking up, the fear of looking cheap in front of your peers, is more painful in that moment than losing the money. The aesthetic tax is everywhere. It is buying an entirely new outfit for a wedding, because you have already been photographed in your other suits or dresses on Instagram, and you cannot possibly be seen repeating an outfit. It is buying a gift that is slightly out of your budget, just to match the perceived social standard of the person receiving it. We spend an exorbitant amount of money simply to manage the perceptions of others. We are subsidizing our social image with our financial future, quietly bleeding wealth, just to make sure nobody suspects we are on a budget. And speaking of managing perceptions, we have to talk about micro upgrades and the premium illusion. We love to feel special. Human ego is a powerful driver of consumer behavior, and corporations know exactly how to weaponize it against your bank account. Have you ever booked a flight and paid an extra $15 for priority boarding? What exactly are you buying? You are paying for the privilege of sitting in a cramped metal tube 10 minutes earlier than everyone else. The plane leaves at the exact same time. You arrive at the exact same destination. But for $15, you get to stand in a slightly shorter line and feel like a VIP for 30 seconds. It is the same psychology behind paying an extra $3 a month for ad-free, listening on a podcast app, or upgrading to the pro version of a software tool when the basic free version does exactly what you need. We are constantly sold the idea that the premium tier is where the successful people live. We upgrade our phone storage, our car trim levels, our hotel rooms, not out of actual utility, but out of ego. We convince ourselves that these micro upgrades improve our quality of life. But in reality, the dopamine hit fades the moment the transaction is complete, leaving behind nothing but a recurring charge that keeps us tethered to the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. But perhaps nothing is more deceptive than the good deal trap. This is where otherwise highly intelligent people completely lose their grasp on basic mathematics. Retailers have successfully rewired our brains to experience a dopamine rush, not from acquiring an item, but from the act of saving money. Let us break down shoppers' math. You are walking through a mall or browsing online and you see a jacket. You had no intention of buying a jacket today. You did not wake up needing a jacket. But there is a massive red sign. Originally $100, now on sale for $50. Your brain completely ignores the fact that you are about to lose $50. Instead, it focuses entirely on the illusion that you are making or saving $50. You buy the jacket, feeling like an absolute genius who just beat the system. But here is the cold, hard reality. Spending $50 to save $50 still leaves you $50 poorer. The retail industry manufactures these events, Black Friday, Prime Day, end-of-season clearances, to create artificial urgency. They convince you to buy things you did not even know existed until they were put on sale. You are not saving money. You are being expertly manipulated into parting with your wealth under the guise of financial prudence. This manipulation often ties directly into our emotional state, leading to the seventh invisible leak: emotional self-care splurges. The concept of self-care has been completely hijacked by consumerism. Genuine self-care is often free, and usually quite boring. It is getting 8 hours of sleep. It is drinking enough water. It is going for a walk, setting boundaries at work, or having a difficult but necessary conversation with a loved one. But the modern world has rebranded retail therapy as self-care. You have a terrible day at the office. Your boss yelled at you, the commute was awful, you feel drained. You tell yourself, I survived today, I deserve a treat. So you go buy a $7 artisanal coffee, or you order an expensive pair of shoes online, or you buy a new video game. You justify it as an investment in your mental health. But let us be honest about what is really happening. You are purchasing a 10-minute dopamine spike to temporarily numb the stress of your life. And the tragic irony is that this consumer self-care actually creates more of the stress you are trying to escape. The temporary high fades quickly, but the financial hangover lasts all month. You are medicating your exhaustion with the very thing, financial instability, that will force you to keep working at the job that exhausts you. While you are busy treating yourself, the financial institutions are busy quietly skimming off the top through friction fees. These are the silent wealth killers levied by banks and platforms, simply because they know you are too busy or too distracted to stop them. I am talking about late fees on a credit card, because you forgot the due date by 24 hours. I am talking about the $35 overdraft fee, because an auto-pay hit your checking account a day before your paycheck cleared. I am talking about the foreign transaction fees, the out-of-network ATM fees, the monthly account maintenance fees. These fees are not the result of you buying something you desire. They are a laziness tax. They are a penalty for a lack of automation and oversight. Banks make billions of dollars every single year off these tiny lapses in human attention. Every time you pay a $35 overdraft fee, think about how long you had to work to earn that money after taxes. You might be trading an entire hour of your life, an hour of your hard labor, to pay a computer algorithm's penalty fee simply because you did not take 15 minutes to set up calendar alerts or automatic transfers. It is an absolute tragedy of personal finance, and it is entirely avoidable. Equally avoidable, yet incredibly common, is the cost of procrastination. We often think of procrastination as a time management issue, but it is actually one of the most expensive financial habits you can have. Human beings are naturally wired to avoid immediate pain or inconvenience, even if it guarantees a much larger pain in the future. You hear a strange squeaking noise coming from the brakes of your car. You know you should take it to the mechanic, but you are busy. You do not want to deal with the hassle of dropping it off, and you do not want to pay the $100 for new brake pads, so you turn up the radio and ignore the noise. 6 months later, the squeak turns into a grinding metal-on-metal sound. Now, because you delayed a basic maintenance task, the worn-out brake pads have destroyed the rotors and the calipers. Your $100 inconvenience has just metamorphosed into a $1,200 emergency. The same principle applies to your home, ignoring a tiny water leak under the sink until it rots the floorboards and causes $10,000 in structural damage. It even applies to your physical health, skipping routine dental cleanings until you need a massive, expensive root canal. Delaying maintenance is not saving money. It is borrowing money from your future self at a catastrophic interest rate. And finally, we arrive at the 10th invisible expense, and mathematically, this is the most devastating one of all. It is the yield illusion. When people think about losing money, they picture the stock market crashing or making a terrible investment. But the most guaranteed way to lose wealth is to do absolutely nothing with it. Let us say you are responsible. You save your money. You have $10,000 sitting in a traditional checking account or a basic savings account at a big bank, earning something insulting like 0.01% interest. You look at your statement every month and the number says $10,000. You feel safe. You feel like you are protecting your wealth. But you are completely ignoring the invisible thief in the room: inflation. If inflation is running at 3 or 4% a year, the purchasing power of your money is being actively destroyed while it sits in the bank. It is as if you hid your money under a mattress, and every single night, someone snuck into your room and shaved a tiny sliver off the edges of your dollar bills. The number on the screen stays the same, but what that money can actually buy in the real world is shrinking. By keeping your money in a zero-interest account instead of a high-yield savings account or an investment vehicle, you are missing out on the power of compound interest. But I do not want you to frame this as just a missed opportunity. Frame it for what it really is: an active, invisible monthly fee that you are paying to the economy for your financial ignorance. You are actively subsidizing the bank. They take your money, lend it out at 7% for mortgages and 20% for credit cards, and pay you pennies in return. Allowing your money to sit idle is the most expensive habit on this entire list. When you step back and look at all 10 of these invisible expenses, the convenience premiums, the zombie subscriptions, the aspirational rotting food, the social aesthetic taxes, the ego-driven micro-upgrades, the fake retail savings, the emotional splurges, the banking friction fees, the cost of procrastination, and the erosion of idle cash, a clear picture begins to emerge. These expenses do not thrive because you are a bad person. They do not exist because you completely lack discipline or because you are incapable of managing money. They thrive in the dark. They feed on a lack of systemized awareness. The modern economic machine is brilliantly designed to separate you from your money with as little friction as possible. It is designed to make spending feel like breathing, automatic, unconscious, and constant. The solution to this is not to live like a monk. The goal of financial literacy is not to stop enjoying your life, to never eat at a restaurant again, or to never buy a coffee. The goal is simply to turn the lights on. It is to move your financial life from the unconscious part of your brain to the conscious part. When you actually see where the money is going, when you track it, measure it, and drag these invisible expenses into the harsh light of day, they lose their power over you. You stop bleeding out from 1,000 tiny cuts, and you finally start directing your hard-earned money toward the things that actually build wealth, security, and true freedom. So, I want to leave you with a question to reflect on as you go about the rest of your day. Be completely honest with yourself. Looking at this list, which of these 10 invisible expenses hit closest to home for you today? Which one made you pause and think, yes, that is exactly what I have been doing? Identify it, name it, and then make a plan to fix it. If this video brought you value, if it helped turn the lights on for your financial reality, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload, and hit the like button. It really does make a massive difference for us. And finally, to those of you who stayed with me all the way to this very last second, thank you. Your attention is the most valuable asset you have, and the fact that you spent it here, investing in your own financial education, speaks volumes about your commitment to changing your future. Keep tracking, keep building, and I will see you in the next one.